All right, welcome back. We got our friend Fred Taylor on the phone. We've got Daniel Murphy in studio, our former big leaguer with the Mets, hanging out with us. Fred, it's Dan and Dan today. Jeff, a little vacation this week, but you still grind, Fred. You're out every Monday. You come through.
Oh yeah, no, I'm gonna be there. What's up, guys? Dan, good morning. Dan, good morning.
Yeah,
hey, Fred, how you doing?
You doing good?
I'm enjoying life, man. Just taking it one moment at a time and dodging as I always do, making it happen.
Hey, I saw something on you. You were being interviewed, and you said your greatest game was that Steeler game where you ran for, was it 234 that night, I believe, at Three Rivers? Most by
that was, yes.
Yeah. I was curious, though. I was doing sidelines then and radio-wise, and so it was a joy to watch you that night. It was always a joy to watch you. But my question was, how many yards did you have receiving? Because you had a couple screens, too. How many total yards did you have in that game? Do you remember?
I don't know the exact number. I forget the screen count.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I wish I knew. But, yes, that's my best game statistically. But I believe my favorite game was my rookie year of the Bucs.
I
had that 71-yard comeback, game-winning run, running behind Baselli. And ironically, it was his number 71, and he kind of led the way. Well, along with the other guys, but that was my favorite game against one of the best defenses, eventually of all time. They have several Hall of Famers on that defense. So that's like my favorite game. But the best game statistically was the Three Rivers game.
You said in the interview I saw, you said, what did you say? You cramped up in the fourth quarter, or that was the only thing that kept you from getting the all-time rushing record in one game?
Yeah, if I would have to say if I had one regret of my entire career, that would be it. Because how much I idolized Walter Payton, and I feel like if there was anyone deserving of the record, it should have been one Fred Taylor. But I didn't deserve it because of the antics, the activities that we participated in prior to that game. It's a crazy story. So I cramped up in the game, dehydrated, and I wasn't able to get the yards because Coach Coughlin, he didn't believe in taking you out the game. Whether you were winning by, a touchdown or 3 touchdowns, you had to play the entire game. And that's old school football, baby.
I was trying to see. I'll find the box score at some point because I'm just curious because I remember I was watching the highlights and, you had 3 catches and another score of 248. That can't be right. You had more than that. Anyway, I'll look it up. I'll have to find it. But you broke. I think it was O.J. Simpson had the most yards against the Steelers before that. I think he went for 227 or something like that, if I remember correctly. So, pretty.
Yeah, I don't have a clue. I was just out there grinding then and just trying to, help the team win. But the Steelers were they're the one organization that you got to bring your hard hat. Not to say you don't against other guys, but the Steelers, we know that steel curtain, the mystique of just Pittsburgh, the way they've been for history, right? So they always brought the best out of me. You get the Ravens that would do the same, the Titans, the Bucs, those historical defenses. Some way, somehow, they just made me perform to a whole nother level.
Hey, I'll ask you this question, Fred. I'm just kicking it around here in the offseason, but I was thinking about this, and you went through this at a different level, but nonetheless, you went through this with your son, Kelvin. And I was thinking about LeBron and Bronny, and I just was curious your experience because Kelvin ended up at Florida. It's you were such a legend in this area. And Kelvin was a great running back at Florida, did very well, had 200-yard game against Georgia, et cetera. But he wasn't Fred, and Bronny's not LeBron. And I'm just like, as a father, what's that like, and how do you feel? Do you want them to walk in their own footsteps, carve out their own path? Yet, just talk to me a little bit about that and your experiences with that.
I think just leveraging life, one thing you have to learn quick is how to manage expectations. As parents, we as parents who don't have kids that are athletes,
right?
Because I have a few sons that aren't athletes. You have to learn to manage expectations and, step back. You have to learn how to remove yourselves in a certain capacity, step back for a moment, and do what's best for their life. Our second job in life, along with being just an amazing parent to our child, we want to make sure that they're successful. We want to make sure that they're great and push them the best we know how. Just going back to Kelvin, my son, I promised myself I wouldn't get involved in his recruiting process. I would pay attention to it.
Okay.
But the ultimate decision would be his decision because I know all too well that he had to experience those 4 or 5 years by himself. I didn't want to be the cause for his unhappiness.
Right.
If something didn't go the way that he expected. And I didn't want to be the cause for his happiness. I just wanted him to go through his ups and downs and, enjoy college, because that's the ultimate experience that I think everyone should try and experience. It was some of the best times in my life, and I learned how to become an adult. I learned responsibility and being out there on my own. But I think as it relates to Bronny and LeBron, that's something every parent wants. We want to see our kids live out their dream. And I think they've gotten to a point where Bronny wanted to be in the NBA. I don't know if Bronny ever thought about being a Hall of Famer or being better than his dad, but I'm pretty sure we can all agree that he wanted to be in the NBA. Now, the journey begins. And I think Bron is just going to cheer for his kid like any parent would do, although he'll have a closer seat to cheer for his kid. And I hope it all works out for him, because the amount of scrutiny that he's gone through, the level of pressure, if there's any, that's been placed on him is crazy.
Right.
But he's still just a child who's, trying to fulfill a dream and have fun playing the sport. We got to all realize it's just a game. It's still a game at the end of the day. So I root for them.
Yeah.
I know some of the pressures that come along with it. Kind of like when McElwain kind of chewed Kelvin out.
Right.
Everybody called me.
Of course they did.
It's part of the game.
Yeah.
It's part of the game.
Yeah.
Even a lot of the scrutiny that Bronny is going through, it's part of the game. And you got to, pull up your big boy britches and go keep coming to work, man. You got a job to do.
Now, listen, I'll take you back even to, and Fred can comment on this too. It was, I don't know what year it was, but 2012, Freddie, we were in Yulee, Florida. And I mean, for a high school football game, right?
Derrick Henry, baby.
Derrick Henry against Kelvin Taylor. Okay, the two big, star running back. Kelvin Taylor, by the way, had incredible high school numbers.
Played state, right?
Yeah.
My brother-in-law played with him.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Played defensive end, Tanner Ahern.
All right, shout out.
State championship team.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Tanner's the man. My guy, Tanner, man.
Yeah, that's my brother-in-law. So I came and watched Kelvin win the state championship.
Ah,
yeah,
okay.
Wow.
Well, this night,
small world.
yeah, this night was what? It was ESPN, and I mean Henry against it, and Kelvin had was 223 rushing yards. And Derrick Henry had 362 rushing. I mean, they're back and forth. But it was such a, these are high school kids, and yet it was such a big deal. And I mean, all your guys' presence there and stuff. It's a big deal in little Yulee, Florida.
Yeah, it was. Back in 2012. And the one thing is, it happened on his birthday. And he was so upset that one that they didn't win.
Right.
And also, Derrick outdueled him and ended up beating him from a statistical standpoint. I think he had 6 touchdowns to go along with all those yards. We talked about it when we had him on the pivot not so long.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, Derrick was just a man-child out there.
In high school, it was unbelievable, Fred.
It was so insane. And the very next day, I went into the Pride of the Jaguars.
Well, that's a good weekend.
Yeah,
for you,
so that was a great weekend for our family. Even though KT didn't win, but just probably a week before that game, Emmitt Smith sent him an autographed signed football for breaking his all-time state-leading rushing record.
Oh, very nice.
So he still enjoys what he did in college. He's just still kind of upset about that Derrick Henry matchup.
By the way, the text line has told me that you had 215 carries for 934 yards and 9 touchdowns against the Steelers, 4.3 yards a carry. So, well done, my friend. Well done.
Not too bad. I wish I can go out there and get the rest and make it 1,000.
Man, what do you got coming up on the pivot?
We've been bouncing around.
Mm-hmm.
This time of the year, we're getting ready to prep for
football
training camp tour.
Yeah.
Towards the end of the month, we'll visit a few teams and just kind of chop it up with the coaches. Sometimes we get an opportunity to speak with the GMs, front office people, and a few of the players. We try and be respectful of all the guys' time. We know how that time of the year gets. In terms of episode, we have an amazing episode with Amon-Ra St.
Oh, yeah.
And his story, his family, his father, John
his pops,
man, his mother is learning fluent German. They couldn't speak to their friends in German. She made them translate it. The whole thing is just amazing just to hear their upbringing. So Amon-Ra should be dropping today because the Netflix show Receivers is dropping Wednesday.
Yeah. Oh, good.
No, not today. I apologize. Tomorrow.
Okay.
Tuesday. My days are all joined together. And then Aaron Donald. Big man.
Oh.
I think he shed a tear on the show when we sat down.
Very nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Well, it's great stuff as always, Freddie, and we look forward to catching up with you as we get closer to football and training camp. And you're the best, man. Appreciate you.
Hey, Dan, don't let these guys get you to go over to Gator Nation too far, man.
All right, buddy.
Deacon is the one that'll do it.
Yes, I will. All right. See you, Freddie.
All right, Freddie.